Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to El Tol Cockerel. It's the results show for week 29 in all three competitions we play. I hope that everyone is well. I'm going to start with a bit of housekeeping. And my bit of housekeeping is, and I'll ask the people that are watching at the moment, and if anyone else joins in, is do you enjoy doing these predictions? And I'll come to my point. But I'm going to ask the question: do you enjoy doing these predictions? Because yeah, the work's becoming laborious in doing this, and I don't think the rewards are there anymore. Because I'll say, for instance, every week, last week we had 50 people take part in the competitions. I'm talking about 50 people, whether they've done it live on the stream, as you normally do, or whether people have left their predictions in the stream at the end of the show, right? I had 50 people predict, and that 50 includes me. I'm one of them 50 that predicts as well, right? And out of 50 people that predicts, we ended up with only 40 likes on the show. So I think last week we ended up with 37 or 30, I think it might be 38 likes by the end of the show. Loads of people left in predictions in the stream after the show. And it ended up being 40 likes. Anyone can go and check the stream from Friday. There was 40 likes, and as you'll see from the table that I'll show when we always look at it, you know, the table that we show the people's predictions on, 50 people took part. And it seems to be that every week the like button, and I don't ask for much more than likes. Likes are free. Subscribing is free. Putting chats in, you know, in normal chat is free. The only thing that's going to cost you money is if you venture out that bit further and you decide that you want to become a member because you want to help, you know, with the ongoing costs and stuff like that. But I don't force people for memberships. The membership is always pinned in the link. People decide to become a member, they do. But I generally, on the Friday, the results show, the prediction show on a Friday, generally I put that on subscriber only because of the amount of work it takes. I'd rather have subscribers that I know that I'm working and doing this for, and that will return week after week, so to speak, and they'll continue to play. So it's probably the only show that I put on sub only. Every other show that I ever do, the results show, any ones that I do on a Sunday, any other shows that I do, I don't restrict it to subscribers only. People subscribe if they wish, but I do restrict it on the day that we do predictions, because obviously I only want people here if they want to be here. But it's just looking at the numbers, and I keep looking at the numbers all the time. People keep telling me this algorithm stuff works, helps out, blah blah blah. Well, I seem to be stuck now. I know why I'm stuck, and some of it's my own fault because I don't probably do enough shows and enough panel shows and stuff like that on my own channel to get me more. But for the people that do watch, for the staple diet of the predictions, I wouldn't have expected that the amount of people that enter would equal the amount of people that have liked it, unless you've got people that 10 more people entered last week than liked the show, basically. So 50 people have done predictions and only 40 likes. So basically, it was just a bit of housekeeping to start off with. I'm going to say hello to people that are here at the moment. I say good afternoon to Adrian, although Adrian was here at 25 minutes before I started. But good afternoon, Adrian. I hope you're well. Jimmy H. Pick up everyone as the clown gone. Yep. Jimmy H, I hope you're back safe and sound. Well, obviously you're in the chat, so hopefully you're back safe and sound. I'm not sure what the weather's is like up north. If it's anything down like here, mate, it's going to be cold. I would much rather be in Spain. Good afternoon to Christopher Inshaw. Good afternoon, Christopher. I hope you are well, sir. Colin B's here on time. Good afternoon, Jose in chat. Good afternoon, Colin. I hope you're well, sir. The Wiz is here. Says big up Jose and the Hoteliers. Unlucky yesterday, Lee. The show must go on. You need to now go after that league title, sir. Paige says afternoon, Peach. Good afternoon, Paige. Your Man United did a number yesterday. Another 3 points further away from us. So well done, Paige. Jimmy's asking, did anyone score decent this week? We will come to that in a second. Drula says afternoon, Jose and the Cockerel crew. Good afternoon, Drula. I hope you and the family are well. Richard is here, says afternoon, or good afternoon, Rich. I hope you're well, mate. Michael is here, says big up Jose, mate, and everyone in the chat. Good afternoon, Michael. You could have gone and got a point yesterday. You could have at least got a point, Michael. What are your team doing? Finn says afternoon, Jose, and all. Good afternoon, Finn. I hope you are well. Oh, then I'm getting a few people saying, from what I was talking about, saying yes from Richard, a yes from Christopher Inshaw, a yes from Michael, says he enjoys the predictions. Jimmy H enjoys them, so does Drula. Good afternoon, Graham, and says hi all the chat. Finn says, I always enjoy Jose, keep doing what you're doing, man. Lee says smashing the like button is the very first thing he does. Archer's here. Good afternoon, Archer. I hope you're well. Drula says she always does it when she comes in. Good afternoon to Ryan. I hope you're well, mate. And then you've got Gus is here. Small downs, Jose and all. Nearly left the message to the doctor. My Spurs results, a Fulham win. Wish I had. Not quite sure what you mean by that. But yeah, right. So now that I've got that out of the way, first order of the week is to find out how people got on. And I haven't even got the tabs up, so you'll have to bear with me a second. Right, what am I looking for? I'm looking for my fantasy. Right, that's that one. And I'm looking for predict the Prem. Who is Predict the Prem? Up there. Predict the Prem. Right, so Predict the Prem is there. Right, so let's have a look. Let's have a look. First, Predict the Prem. Let's see, they're not letting me come over to the channel. Right, here we go. Present Predict the Prem for people. Right, predicting the Prem. Right, you will see Jose in 20th place has lost ground. And that's for a varying amount of reasons. It's a varying amount of reasons. Right, on Predict the Prem, Jose thought he'd done it this week, and Jose hadn't. Jose put 2 results in. Jose did the example result of the first game, which I think it might have been the Everton game, did the example result and never changed it. Looked at it yesterday and realised it had only taken 1 game and I hadn't changed it. So I put in the Leicester score and I got that completely wrong. I went for a Leicester home win. So someone who's played every game is Graham, who's at the top, and he's predicted 289 games. That's the most games you can predict, I believe. And I've only predicted 266. So I have lost out in predicting this week. But nonetheless, Graham is still in the lead. But Graham, his points lead has been restricted to 13. Now, someone like Dan Coyes, who's I'm not seeing in the chat, Dan Coyes dropped out of this competition, and Dan Coyes was doing really, really well. And I'm just wondering, had Dan stayed on, maybe he might have been closer to Graham now. But anyway, Graham's got the lead. Rob Belcher at a pace and at knots is the person that's closing him down. Rob is 13 points off him, but also Rob's built a 20-point buffer between him and Chris Peters. So Graham's leading, and Graham has been leading since, I don't know, since probably November time. So Graham's been leading, but his points are being whittled away, and he's down to a 13-point lead. But he's still in the lead. He's still the person to catch. Chris Peters is in third, former leader. The Sheriff, who once led this competition as well, is in fourth. Ryan is fifth. All these guys have broken 200 points, by the way. You've got Ronnie, Kev Clark, who's a previous leader, Smithy, Ed M, then Vancouver, Destiny 5. Tot Spurs, Paul G. Paul G, who's predicted less than me. And look, he's up in 13th. Less games than me. Carl Simpson's up there as in 14th. Then you've got Lee Wiz, you have Neil, and so on and so forth. So well done, Graham. You still have the lead. Anybody interested in doing this, the link is in the description for Predict the Prem. So well done, Graham. You're leading in that. Right. The second game that we go to, as per usual, will be Fantasy Premier League. Now, what I must say with the Fantasy Premier League this week is that what I must say with this week is that some people may have forgotten to change and swap their teams around, and some people may have done it in time. Some people must have just kept what they've got. But I will only talk about the people that have moved up and one person that moved down or didn't score highly. So you can see that in here, in the bottom 10, nobody has moved. Although again, the person that's made up points is Daz. Daz, who joined late, it's got 40 points. He's outscored everybody in the 10 places above him. So slowly but surely, Daz is making up numbers. Top 50. Ben has broken into the top 50. And then you've got James has gone to 47. David Williams has gone into 44th. Scott Colliver has gone up into 40th. Anthony Herbert is into 37th. Anthony Herbert was once the leader of this competition, and he is now 37th. What happened to Anthony? And Anthony, for people that don't know Anthony, Anthony's a nice Gooner fan, and he ends up doing a lot on Early Doors Football, which is Tony's West Ham channel, where I met him. Nice chap. He logged in one day when we were doing predictions, saw that we had the fantasy, saw the points table for the fantasy, and then asked if he could join, because he knew at that stage that he had more points than the leader in our competition. So he joined it, and he was top straight away. He's now 37. So be careful what you wish for sometimes. Hanno has gone into 35th. We haven't seen Hanno in a while. Cockerel has gone up into 33rd, which would be me. So I've gone up to 33rd. Jeff's gone into 31st. Wiz has gone up into 26th. My main account, which is currently there in 24th, I ended up with 8 points because I did not change and do anything with my team. And what's happened is, by the virtue of me doing that, if you go into the cup section, you guys would have been playing in the cup this week, in a few cups. I've probably been knocked out of every cup this week in week 29 because I never changed my team around. Where I managed to change Eltel Cockerel and he got 61 points. I didn't change this one and I ended up with 8 points. Grant has gone up into 23rd. Steve has gone up into 18th. Ronnie is up into 16th. Who else have we got apart from Ronnie? We've got Zoe up into 15th. Blake has gone into 10th. Jamie Imber has gone into 9th. Carl Simpson has gone into 7th. Ryan, good old Ryan. Look at that. Ryan's made a move. Ryan must have changed his team up. Ryan's done something because Ryan has gone up into 3rd place and scored 74 points. Scored 74, Ryan. So Ryan did something this week. I don't know what it is Ryan's done. I'm going to look in a minute. It's just caught my eye. And Nick Collison has gone into 2nd. But our leader, and he's a leader by 80 points, is Ped. So Ped's obviously changed his lineup to accommodate the changes that have been done. Let's look at Ryan's team. Right, what's Ryan done? Okay, Ryan must have made substitutions. Ryan, you're going to tell me if I'm right or wrong. You've either used a chip to change your team for 1 week. Is what I think you've done. Because I don't think you would have had these players normally. Because on the bench, you've got Henderson, Rogers, Guehi, and Isaac, who all didn't count this weekend. But every other player that you've got in your team, would have played. The only player that didn't play was Cole Palmer. But every other player would have scored points because they all had games this week. You only took Salah out because he wasn't playing. Okay. What did Ped do? Because Ped's done something to his team. Because Ped ended up with 88 points. So Ped's leading. He's obviously supports West Bromwich Albion. No, he's called his team Wes Bromwich Albion, but he's a Liverpool supporter, Ped. But looking at Ped's team, everybody in Ped's team scored points, even the substitutes. Near enough. So Ped has dropped. So Ped may have played his chip where he dropped Liverpool, Villa, and all these type of players and brought other players in order to have a team that would all score points this week. So you can see that he's got Elanga in there, Miklenkovic and Wood. I'm not sure whether he had all these 3 players in his team pre this game. He's got Visser and Mbeumo there. So anyway, he scored well. So well done to everybody else that's played. But that's where you are with that. Right, we've had some people come in. Right, who's come in? Right, Gus Parker says, always fun, the predictions. I always like, says Gus Parker. Thank you very much. Keep Ange, the man's a legend, says Michael Chelsea, you piss taker. Ryan G says, at least your 6-1 to Southampton didn't come off to the doctor. I'm not sure what the score would have been. Gus Parker says, what does Gus Parker say? Ryan was way off. Lee Wiz has said, I've just been to Iceland and lost a big bag of frozen chips. Everything else I got was to have with the chips. Muppet. Unlucky, mate. Unlucky. If it's not too far, walk back again if it's not too far. Okie dokies, you have my full and divided attention. I had a woeful week in predictions, says Ryan G. Carl Simpson is the one who answers here. He says, good afternoon, Jose, and everyone in the chat. Good afternoon. Lee says, my team is half Liverpool and half Castle, is what he said. So you got 0 points this week. Gus says, what does Gus say? Gus says, I think I didn't do too well either. Nailed the cup final though, and that was and what I bet. So that'll do. Got people saying you got a good afternoon here from Paul G, and a couple of well dones. Vindaloo's come in, put in a super chat. Says, big up, Jose. Just come out of a seminar in Edinburgh. This is for the hard work you put in, mate. It is a predicated. Oh, and then he's put he didn't have to. He's put another one that says, appreciate it. I mean, bloody spell check. Lee was saying he's got an e-scooter, no flies on me. The most important thing is you, Jose, in all you do, in all this, do you enjoy doing it? That's the main thing. I do enjoy doing it, but it's like I said, the stuff that costs no money at all, like your likings and your subscribings and stuff like that, costs nothing at all. And when you see, like I said, I've noticed it for a while now. I said it a couple of weeks ago that it was kind of like, it got to me that, you know, I hear people saying they look forward to Friday. I hear people saying this is a release for them. I hear people saying all these wonderful things. And for the people that say it, I've got no doubts they are probably the ones that are hitting the like button. But when I look at the amount of people that have entered it, like I said, I can clearly see 50 people have made predictions this week. And of 50 people, I can only see 40 likes. Now, there are some people that come in all honesty, and say, I'm going to leave I've hit a like, but I'm going to leave my predictions later. And they don't end up leaving predictions, but then you don't know whether they left a like. So, like I said, all I'm looking at is that 50 people did the predictions on Friday. I looked at it at the end of the stream on Friday, and I know how many we had. We had 37, it might have been 37 likes. But then I've got a whole multitude of people leaving their predictions in the stream after the event, so to speak. And some of them have popped in and said, look, I'm running busy at the moment and I'm going to do them after the stream. And I've got no problems. I've got no issues, because you do the work on the show, you do the work on the streams, you know, up until kickoff and even beyond kickoff, I'm still adding scores in. So it's not like, yeah, Friday night show's finished. So Friday finishes, what did we finish at? About 10 past 6 on Friday. It didn't stop for me there, because before I went to play football, I'd had stuff put on the stream, so I added all them scores in. When I got back from football, I added them scores in. When I got up Saturday morning, added the scores in, all the way up until kickoff. There wasn't anyone that put any predictions in after I think the last person, we'll see it on here, but I think Ian Meth was one of the last people to predict on the stream, and he missed one game because one game had already kicked off. So, you know, it is what it is. But anyway, forget about that. I've had my moan about it now. I'll just monitor it and I'll see what happens. And like I said, I always put it on subscribe only for that show, because obviously I want people to come back, and you're the guys that come back all the time. So you, the guys, are really the ones that I do the show for. So it's the only show that I put subscriber only on. And when I put subscriber only on, I only put it for 1 minute. So therefore, if you're going to take part, it means you've got to subscribe, but you can only not comment for 1 minute. So by the time we get into it all, you're able to subscribe and then put your comments, your things in. I'm not going to name and shame Drew. I'm not a school. It's not naming shaming. I'm just saying what it's clear. It's obvious. You can't hide. I mean, you could go back and look yourselves, and you can look at the previous streams that are done, right? And then obviously when I bring up the result sheets, you can see how many people have predicted. So, but we will go on. I'm going to ask you now, how well have you guys done this week? Tell me what you think you've done this week, is what I'm going to ask. And then, I don't know, I might go around and tell you what the average is before we start looking at everything. Let me just look at the average. How well have you guys done this week, is what I wanted to know. Right, Chris is first in. Chris is saying he thinks he got 9. Let me see, Christopher, because some of you people go away and you write them all down. I can't write them all down, obviously, because I have to put everyone's predictions in. But Christopher, you did score 9 points. You're correct. You scored 9 points this week. Drula, you came in quite late last week, so you were further down the list. You normally are. Drula, you did score 11 points. Destiny 5 says, person turquoise writing headphones. Now, have you put something in that I've missed? Crap, don't think I had 1 correct score. That doesn't give me much to go on, Ryan. Pace says, if I'm correct, I've got 9 points. Right, let me see Paige. Where's Paige? Paige, yes, you did score 9 points. Michael says not too well. However, I did say Fulham win. Good afternoon, Daniel. Daniel's here. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ronnie. I hope you're well. Ronnie says he thinks he got 13. Ronnie, let me see what you got, mate. If I can see, find you, and I'll tell you. Ronnie's here. Ronnie, yes, you did get 13 points. Graham says he thinks he got 10. Graham, you did score 10 points. Good afternoon to Darren. I hope you're well. Destiny says, is that what came up? It was an emoji lol. Right. Okay. Let me see. Sorry, reading it because I'm not in YouTube. I'm in StreamYard. So yeah. Okay. The emojis just come up now, but in StreamYard, Destiny. Honestly, it's come up with me. It says it's got the pink the hand thing, and then it says person equals turquoise equals writing equals headphones. So I only read it out, and that's what I said. I don't know what it means. Darren says, how much points did I get, and did I move up? Please, mate. I'm asking you guys how many points you think you got, and at the moment, everybody is correct. Mikey says he thinks he got 5. Mikey Romero. What did Mikey Romero get? Mikey R. I need to find you, Mikey R. Right, Mr. Romero. Mr. Romero, you did not score 5 points this week. Carl Simpson says he thinks he got 10. Carl Simpson thinks he got 10. Carl Simpson, you did get 10. And Adrian thinks he got 8. Adrian, yeah, you did get 8. See, this is what I'm saying. Some of you guys, you write down, you must write down what you predicted. As I said, I can't tell you what's predicted. I don't write mine down. I just put them in, same as what I do with all you guys. And then I go back and I have to then go through all the results. So you lot must be keeping a track. I think out of everyone so far, one person hasn't. So Mikey Romero's got his wrong. Everyone else has got his right. So I'm just thinking that you must all write them down. Right, Darren says he thinks he got 7. Now I've got to find Darren. Darren Lefty's on the stream. No, Darren, you did not get 7, unless I've made a mistake, which I'm just checking now, because I've been known to make mistakes, not on purpose, but I do, and I rectify them when I've made them. Right, that's not. No, you didn't get 7 points. Carl says, I do write it down, but usually not the bonus ones, says Carl. I always write my predicted scores down, says Archer. Paul G says he got 3. Ooh. Paul G. Let me see where Paul G is. You write them in a book, do you, Drula? Yours. Paul G says he got 3. No, Paul G, you did not get 3. Yeah, Darren, you did put them on the stream. Right. Do you want me to put you all out your misery? Yeah. Right, let me put you all out your misery. I'll tell you how many you did. I will tell you now before we bring this up. No, do you know what? I won't. I'll tell you what the average is after. Let me just work out the average again. I'm going to tell you after. Right, that's the average. Right, just leave the average there so I can see the average. Right. I'll use the same scores as for the online game. The bonus ones I make up on the spot, says Louise. And Christopher Inshaw says, yes, right, ready. So, right. I'm going to have to take the Cockerel's there. So what? It's just there. Right. First game of the week ended up being Everton 1, West Ham United 1. And for this, if you've got a green, you've got the absolute correct score. If you have an orange, it means that you went the right way, but you didn't get the correct score line. So 3 points for the green, 1 for an orange. So the correct score line for West Ham Everton went to Graham, Sir Rob, Adrian, Smithy, Destiny, and that was it. They're the only people to correctly predict the 1-1 draw. Mikey Romero scored a point. So did Neil. So did the Wiz by predicting a different draw scoreline, but they all got a point each. The second game ended up being Ipswich 2, Nottingham Forest 4. Nobody predicted that, I don't think, but you've got a sea of orange there. You've just got a few people that went for different scores. So everybody apart from David Shear, Darren, Queen Ellie, Rob Belcher and myself, everyone else scored a point. So 45 people scored a point in that, and 5 of us did not. The next game ended up with Manchester City 2, Brighton 2, and the correct scoreline came in from Christopher, The Wiz, Leo, Colin B, Ed M, and Peter Kagaias. They're the only people that scored and got the correct scoreline. Chang got a point for getting a 1-all draw. Game number 4 ended Southampton 1, Wolves 2. And with this, the people that got the absolute correct score were Archer, Jimmy H, Ronnie, Rob Belcher, Smithy, Nita, Neil, Destiny, Leo, Daniel, Drula, Totspurs, Nick, In the Bin, Kuva, Vindaloo, Grant, and Ian all got the correct prediction 1-2 scoreline. People in orange went for the away victory and scored a point. Next game again was Bournemouth 1, Brentford 2. And on the first page, the doctor predicted an away victory and got a point. Mikey Romero predicted an away victory and got a point. And that was it. They're the only 2 people that scored points from that game. The majority of people had the home win, that followed by the draw, and only 2 people had the away win for Brentford, but no one got the correct scoreline. The next game was Arsenal 1, Chelsea 0, and for this, Jimmy H, Ronnie are the only people that got the correct scoreline. Anybody else that had predicted the home victory, that would be Ian, Chang, Tigaro David, Shear, Vindaloo, Big John, James, Darren, Stacey, In the Bin, Nick, Totspurs, Daniel, Alan, the Doctor, Richard, Johnny, Smithy, Adrian, Finn, Ryan, Jess, Rob, David, Clark, Carl Simpson, Archer, and Graham all scored a point for that. The next game ended up being Fulham 2, Tottenham 0, and on this page, Jimmy got the home, went for the home win. So did Paige. So did Smithy, and so did Darren, Michael Chelsea, Kuva, and Grant. So you all scored a point. Interesting that most of the people that scored a point in that game were non-Tottenham supporters that scored a point in that game. So they went for the home victory and got a point for it. Leicester 0, Manchester United 3 finished the Premiership games off yesterday. And with this, Carl Simpson got the correct scoreline. Richard got the correct scoreline. And the Potato got the correct scoreline. Anyone else that's got an orange there means that you predicted an away victory, but not the correct scoreline. You therefore have scored yourself a point. And then we went to the Carling Cup final, which was the first of the bonus games this week because there's only 8 Premiership games. And that ended up being Liverpool 1, Newcastle 2. Hard luck on Liverpool, but well done to Newcastle securing their first silverware for 70 odd years or whatever it is. So well done them. But the correct scoreline for the cup final came in from Paige, Johnny, the Doctor, Nita, Neil, and Queen Ellie. All predicted the 1-2 scoreline. There's a couple of people there, Tigaro and Daycar, who didn't copy each other, but them 2 scored a point each for going for the away victory. They actually went for the identical result, but they went for 2-3 and it was a 1-2, so they scored a point. the next game took us to Austrian, I think it was the Austrian second league, and it was Ried versus, here we go, now I'm going to have to test myself again. And this was Ried versus Lapnitz, and that ended up being a 4-0 victory. And the only person that, well, Ronnie got the 4-0, so he got 3 points for it. And that was it. There was a lot of people that scored points in that game for the home victory. Some people went for the draw and some people went for the away, but the only person that correctly predicted it was Ronnie. It was 2-0 at half time, and I thought, bloody hell, this mob, they're going to concede goals, but only one of them conceded one more. But they ended up conceding 2 more, so Ronnie was the only person that got it right. Finn, you were close. You went for 7-3. You got a point. You were close, though. The next game took us to Russia, and it ended up being Mefathalink Limik 0, Torpedo Moscow 1. And with this, the correct scoreline came in from the doctor, Daniel Dekaru. And then everyone else has got an orange there, means that you went for a torpedo win, but you didn't get the correct scoreline. And as I said, all the greens are 3 points. So well done to those. We then moved on to the MLS, and it was DC United versus Montreal, and it ended up a 0-0 draw. I don't think anybody, did anybody have it? Nobody had the 0-0 draw, but Tigara picked up a point for a 1-1 draw. Alan picked up a point for a 1-1 draw. Richard picked up a point for a 2-2 draw, and Jimmy Hotspur picked up a point for a 1-1 draw, because they all predicted a draw, and it wasn't. It was a 0-0. So no one got that right. And the last game was Leipzig 2, Dortmund 0, and I got a correct scoreline there at 2-0. And so did Mikey Romero, and so did Darren. Quite a lot of people in this game went for the away victory. There was a few draws there, big draws as well, but the majority of people went for an away victory in that game. So, let me see what your comments have been. Right. Big John's here. Says, afternoon, marching all together. Hit them likes up, you twats. Leo is also here. It says, hey, homies, hope everyone's well. Hello, Leo. Ryan G says 7. It's better than what I thought, to be honest. Darren says I put 3-0 Forest. All right, where's Darren? Darren, 3-0. That's Forest. Forest is the second game. All right. Darren on the second game. Yeah, on the you put 3-0 down. I'm only going by what you left on the stream, mate. When people leave them on the stream, when people leave them, I go by. So some people, like someone like Big John puts them in running order and puts a comma after each one. So I don't look at the home and aways. I just put the results in because that's what Big John has done. When people put down their scores, I take it as a score you've put in. So you've put 3-0. That's what I've put in there. If I've made a mistake, then I will own up to it. But normally, I always put down the results that you put in. Lee Wiz says, so it was 7 for you. Right, Wiz, you are... I've got to find you. So, yeah, you scored 7, Lee. That's correct. You scored 7. Paige says, I climbed a few spots in the table. I don't know how you know that, Paige, because I haven't even given the tables yet. Right, the doctor says, should I have got a yellow for the Montreal draw? Right, the doctor, you are right. I should have given you an extra point there. Like I said, if I'm wrong in something I do, I own it. So I will change yours. I can't change it here on screen, but I'm going to change it on my laptop to show, and then I'll change it on the league table. So when the league tables get done again, you'll know that it's been done. And I'm just trying to find you. Was you in the show live? You were, weren't you? Yeah, the Doctor. 3-all draw. Give him an orange. And give him an extra point. So that gives you 11, Doctor. Does that affect the Doctor on the league table for next week rather than this week? I'll tell you now. Did the Doctor? I've got to find the Doctor now. Right. Even though I've done you dirty for a point, you don't change in the table, but I've changed it for the time being. Right, so with that being said, right, the tables, are you ready for the tables? The tables are as such. We have 131 players. If you are in green, it means that you have moved up in the table. Don't know by how many positions, you just moved up. If you remain in white, it's because you remain in the same position or you've dropped. If you are in a goldy color, it means that you've hit a milestone, and you may have gone up as well, but you definitely hit a milestone. So 131 players playing. From 131st to 120th, there are no changes. From 119th to 80th, there are no changes. The changes now start. Paige, the clairvoyant, has gone into 71st place. Christopher has gone into 68th. In the bin has gone into 63rd. Darren is up to 58th. Michael, in gold, has broken the 100-point barrier and becomes the 54th player to do so. I did say, if people play this week in, week out continuously, you will break the 100-point mark. And I expected 70 people to do it. From looking at this, I can probably see another 9 people breaking it. And unless we've got new players and old players that come back, I can see another 9 people breaking the 100 mark. But we currently have 54 players. Chris Peters returned last week. He's gone into 50th. Destiny 5, who returned last week, has gone into 49th. I said to watch out for these two because when they were doing it, they were really good at it. So you got 50th and 49th. And then you got Stacey, has gone up into 46th. Above that, people have picked up points. There's just been no change. So when there's a lot of white here, there's just been no change. And then in the top 39, Finn has gone into 39th place. So make sure that I'm right there. He's 40th. Rich, no. Side dancer was 40. Yeah. So Finn is gone up into 39th. Neil is up into 36th. Jimmy is up into 35th. Alan is up to 33rd. Jimmy and Neil are on the Neil, Richard are on the cusp of the 200 mark, and I've got a chance of breaking that. So has Richard, mind you, as well. So has the Potato. So has Finn. You've all got chances of breaking that in the next 2 weeks, and we'll come on to that in a bit. Vindaloo is climbing. Vindaloo doesn't stop climbing. Vindaloo is up to 27th. Vindaloo has just been progressing week on, week out. Vindaloo has been flying. He's up to 27th. And he's ahead of Nita, just on the virtue of having more correct predictions. Tigaro has gone into 20th. Edem has gone into 19th. David Clark has gone into 18th. Mr. Blackshaw has gone into 14th. And then we have Ronnie, Big John, and Adrian all breaking the 300 mark. Drula was ever so close. You were 1 point away from breaking it this week, Drula. Another draw, another 1 point this week, Drula, you would have broken the 300. But it comes to those who wait. Drula, next set of predictions, I've got no doubt Drula breaks the 300. Mikey Romero, Colin B, Paul G, James, Johnny, David, Ed M, Tigaro, Quez, all these people on this page, and all the way down to Finn. I expect every single person on this page to get beyond 300 points. So well done, you. And then as you go further up the table, points have been picked up by people. And Graham still leads the way. Graham leads the way by 2 points from Dan. Dan is in 6 in front of me. Carl's 12 behind me. Carl's closed the gap. Ryan's on 319. Ian Meth, Kuba's closed the gap up to 312. And Tot Spurs is on 309. So well done to everyone. That's your league positions. See what your comments are saying about the league positions. Yes, I made the 100 points. Michael, you should be breaking 200 comfortably and possibly pushing for free. There is no reason why not. Pace says 3 spots gained, slowly getting there. Darren says I'm 17 away from 100. Darren, there's no reason why you can't break 200. I'm still 29th place, Jose. I've been number 29 all season. Wiz, everyone around you's playing. So you've got to outscore the people in front of you, is basically what you've got to do, because people in and around you are on the same amount of points, right? Big John says, I'll take that over 300. Ronnie is asking me a question. Right, Ronnie's asking me a question. Let me see what Ronnie's asking me, and I'll go and have a look. To be fair to everyone, to be fair. Let me go and have a look. All right. If I go back down to Ronnie's question. Right. As I said already, right, Ronnie, it doesn't matter what the name is that you put beside it. Everyone knows what the fixtures are. So I take the result. So I take 2-1, 3-0, 2-1, 2-0, 1-1, 3-1, 3-2. The way it's been written is the way that I'm going to take it. If I had to stop and look at every score and see, did they mean the home team? Right. So let's say, for argument's sake, right, what I expect to see, right, I'll start with Everton. Everton, West Ham. So the first goal scored goes to Everton. The second score goes to West Ham. So if someone puts in there 1-0, I take 1-0. So that's Everton 1, West Ham 0. I don't start reading, oh, I have to read that West Ham are going to win 1-0. I take the result. Unless you put both the teams' names in there, I take the result as it's written, because otherwise it becomes too much work. I've done that from day one, and I will continue to do it. If you start writing 3-0s to this team and that team, I don't look at it like that, unless you put both teams in there. And so my case in point would be, I'm going to share my case in point so you understand what I'm talking about, right? And it may sound harsh, but if I keep doing it that way, then I won't have a life. I won't be able to see my family. Won't have a social life. Won't be able to go and play football, because I'm having to correct people in what they're doing. So, right, I'm going to go to. Right, let me share it so I can present it so you can see what I'm talking about. Right. So this is last week. Right. I go into the comments that were left by people, and I'm going to go newest first. Right. So where's Darren? Right. Darren left his like this: 2-1, 3-0, 2-1. I don't read the names. I just put the scores in. Yeah. So you've got someone like Jimmy Hotspurs. James Coyes here says 2-1, 1-3. He puts down the team that are playing at home or whatever, and he just puts down the result. So I just take the result and I put the result in. Some people, like Kuva, right, reading Kuva's put both the teams in, but still kept it the same, like 3-1, 1-2. So I'm taking the score. Yeah. And when I said Big John, because Big John does his differently all the time, But when I saw Big John's, where's Big John's gone? Right. If you look at Big John's here, Big John puts in the scores, no team names, just puts in the scores with a comma, and I go ahead and I just put them in. All in order, I just put them in order. So at the end of the day, forget, if you're going to put both the teams' names down, you can do. But if you start saying, I want Everton 1-0, but I want Forest 3-0, I'm not going to start checking who's home and away. I take the score. And it's obvious the first score comes for the home team. The second score is always for the away team. I hope that clears it up. Yeah, I hope that clears it up. May sound a bit harsh, but that's the way I've always done it, because otherwise it is too much work. Daniel says, I've been hitting that top 2 for the last 6 months. I've got to win this title race. I don't know whether you missed the earlier part of the show, Dan, but I showed the predictions league, the Predict the Prem, and the Graham's lead's been cut to 13 now, right? So Graham's still in the lead, but it's been cut, and it's Rob Belcher that's the closest to him now. If you hadn't dropped out, Dan, I think you might have been a hell of a lot closer than what you actually think, because of, you know, the figures that you're putting in. Lee Wiss says, I don't mind being 29th, better than being 30th. Octopus red, waving, octopus red, waving, octopus red, waving. Okay, you must have put a you must have put a thing in there, and it's just telling me the title of what you put in there, because I'm not looking at it on thingy. Okay, you got 4 octopuses. Okay, I can see it now. Drew says, well done to all smashing that 300 mark. I'm nearly there, 1 point away. Hopefully can smash that in the bonus week. Graham says, cheers, guys. I appreciate all the effort you put in for this. I have respect for Graham. He's literally been top 2 for about 6 months as well, says Daniel. Graham says, it's all good fun, Dan. We shall see in a few weeks who comes out on top. I expect there will be changes. Drula says, Daniel sounds like Lego head, your coach. Sack him. Daniel's agreeing with me. I think that was because of the results of the thing. Is there no Prem till 1st of April? Right. So the question I've got for you guys is, right, is do you want to continue playing, right, this week? I've set up a show if people want to do it. But if people want to do a bonus week this weekend, it will be a 20-game bumper, right, because there are no Premiership matches. And then it looks like the following week, so it's up to you guys. So I need you lot to tell me in the chat, do you want to do for bumper games for the next 2 weeks? So that's 20 games bumper this week and 20 games bumper the following week, because the following week is FA Cup week. So this week is International week. The following week is FA Cup week. So I'm asking you guys now, if you want to do a bumper, we'll do a bumper on both days. But I'm asking you guys now so we know. And then also it means that you're going to have to remember, because what will happen is during, when there's no Premiership games, even some of the regulars here, right? Even you lot are the regulars. Even some of the regulars forget to put anything in because they think, oh, there's no Premiership, so there's no need to do it. Because you don't have to do Predict the Prem, because you might not have to do fantasy, then I ain't going to do predictions. Them people are the ones that end up dropping down on points because they've missed weeks. The way to make your points, obviously, is in the bumper ones. You've got 20 games. 20 games is 60 points at hand. No one gets to 60 points. No one's ever got near. No one's ever broken. In the bumper, no one's broken 30 points yet. I'm just going to say. I think the highest we've had on the bumper is 28. So, yeah, if you want to do the bumpers, we'll do them for the next 2 weeks. But then that will mean, because I play football on a Friday, that will mean that I've decided to pull the show earlier on Friday to 3:30. Now, if you can't make it at 3:30, because I want to get away and play football. So if you can't make it at 3:30, some of you guys might have to leave them in the stream, which I haven't got an issue with, because I can pick them up from the stream. But like I said, if I'm going to do the bumper ones and I play football on a Friday, it means I need to get away. So doing 20 games on Friday. It means that the show will start at 3:30. Is everyone aware, first of all, that the show starts at 3:30 on Friday? Because I don't know whether you checked my channel or not, but I'd already set the show up for 3:30 on Friday. And if you are happy to go for 3:30, then 3:30 is what we'll go by. So we'll start the show on Friday at 3:30. I'm going to have to find 20 games. It becomes more difficult, really, because the games this weekend, I already started looking, right? And the games that I found for this weekend are barren. If I'm looking away from what I can see on BBC, right, it becomes barren because the games are. I've got my phone in front of me, right? So, because everybody is playing in international games this weekend, it means that most of the leagues around the world, because there's competitions, whether it be in Europe, Oceania, Africa, Asia, South America, doesn't matter where you are, right, there's going to be games. So that means that most of the leagues will not be playing this weekend. But, I mean, for instance, I was looking, and in Argentina, so Algeria has got League Two. It's not even their Premiership, it's their League Two. In Argentina, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different other tournaments going on. Australia have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They've got 15 leagues being played, but none of them are their top league. Austria, it's not even their first and second divisions. They are into regional leagues. So looking at it, we could have some really, if you think I've done obscure games in the past, I'm talking about really, really obscure games. Or I go down the route from picking domestic games, because the domestic diary for this weekend, and I haven't made my mind up yet. You've got League One's taking place at the moment with some games, not all of them, some. League Two's taking place with some games. So's the National League. You've got the Scottish Championship, Scottish League One, Scottish League Two. Got a National League North and South that'll be still playing. The Highlands and the Lowland Leagues are still playing. The Irish Premiership. You've got the Nigerian Premier League. Oh, the USA, the MLS is still playing, but some of their kickoffs ain't until 11:30 at night, which means that I'll have to go and do work again on Sunday. But anyway, I will decide. You guys want it, we'll do it. It'll be 3:30 on Friday, and for those that come in late, I'm going to make no bones now. For those that come in late, it will be, you have to leave them on the stream. I'm not going to be doing rollbacks, because at the end of the day, I need to go, and I want to go and play football. So I'm hearing people saying, yeah, they're quite happy to do so. Michael Chelsea says, right, 3:30, no problem for Michael. Lee Whiskey says 3:3 noted. I'll set the alarm on my dog. Ryan says, yeah, that's fine for me, Jose. Daniel says, these next 2 weeks will be massive for the predictions. It could open up a lead for someone at the top, or make even more people closer to the top. Sounds. Gus P is saying, Scott's 1 and 2 always rocking on. Graham is saying later to me and everyone in the chat. See you later, Graham. Take care, mate. And Pace is probably going to make the stream. If not, I'll leave them in the comment. Right. Yeah. So what we'll do then is, they're the scores. I think I've caught everyone. They're the scores on the doors. Oh, yeah. Sorry. What I forgot to say is, from looking at your scores, the average this week was 7.92. So a quick wrap up would be, congratulations to Graham, over 10 points. Archer, congrats for being above average. Jimmy and Carl, congrats for being over 10. Christopher and Paige, above average. Jose, below average. Congratulations to Ronnie for being double figures. Lee, below average. David Clark, well done. average and above. Above average was Rob Belcher, Jess, Ryan, Finn, and that just them were below average. Adrian, average. Smithy, well done, double points. Johnny Reviews, average, and so was Richard. Gus P, 11 double points, well done. Below average, Paul G. Nita was above average. Well done to both Neil and Destiny for being double figures. You've got Rakdos Madness at below average. Leo was below average. The Potato was below average. Queen Ellie was below average. Mikey Romero, double figures and well done. Chris Peters was below average. Dan, 11 points, double bubble, well done. Colin B, below average. Drula, 11 points, double bubble, well done. Totspurs Dekaru, below average. Ed M, average. Roundtable Talk, below average. In the Bin, well done, double points. Stacey, below average. Dazza, below average. James, who was man of the week last week, was below average this week. And so was Michael Chelsea, and so was Big John. Above average was Kuva. Double figures and well done to Vindaloo. Below average, Peter Kagaias and David Shear. Double figures, Tigaro, well done. Above average, Grant. And below average for Chang and Ian. That gives you the figures for last week. So, David Shear, I owe you. What do I owe you, David? Anyone got any baseball scores? Because David says I owe him something, so I need some baseball scores. Someone give me a baseball stat, and I can do it. You had Brentford winning, right? David, where are you? Where are you, David? David Shire. Where's David? That's not it. David Shire. Mr. Shear, I owe Mr. Shear. Do I owe Mr. Shear? Where's Brentford? Brentford 1-2. Right, it's a 1-2 victory. What did you put down? You've put down 2-1, mate. Hold on, where's David Shear? Right, who's 0-3? 0-3 is Man United. So Bournemouth 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the fifth one along, David, is what you're saying. You had the score there. 2-1. You've gone for 2-1, and 2-1 is what I've put in there, mate. All right, Mr. Shear, let me check. Let me check you, Mr. Shear. Let me check. Mr. Shire. All right, let me check. I can't see where Mr. Shire's scores are. All right, let me have a look. Let's go back in and check. Can't accept Mr. Shire, can we, eh? Let's have a look. Right, is that there is competition results? Is there? Let me go back up and check. Oh, have a look. There's David Shear. David Shear. So 2-0, 2-1, 2-1. Right. Which I put in there. I've done them already. Why can I only see 4 scores from that? Does he put it in twice? I can only see 4 scores. Well, he must have put this in twice. I'll have to look at it, but he must have put it in twice because I can only see 4 scores. Anyway, for people that watch me week in, week out, I say the same things over and over again. The home team's first. So if you put 2-0, it's because the first score comes first, the second score comes after. It's as simple as. I don't start checking for who's who and who's not. It's the same as when people put in the chat. Let's say we were going for the first game again, right? And it's Everton versus West Ham. And someone puts in 2-0 to West Ham. Well, I'm not going to start checking because 2-0 to West Ham is 0-2. It's as simple as that. And that's the way that I always do it. Because otherwise, you'd never have a life if I did all that. And I had to counter check everyone. So I say to everybody when we're doing it, always put the home score first and the away score after. So when you put a score line in, sometimes it's easier just to put the score line in than putting the names of the teams, because I understand it better. When I ask you for predictions and I ask you to give me a prediction, you normally put in there 1-0, 2-1, 1-2, 3-1. And it's easy. You're putting in a prediction and a score line, and it's easy to read. But if you start putting in and start mumble jumble in it, then it becomes more difficult. Sorry, I forgot about that. Ronnie's just commented. Ronnie is the person of the week this week with 13 points. So Ronnie, well done you. And with that, yeah, so Ronnie is the top scorer this week. Bookies were uncharacteristically generous. I got 3-1 for Newcastle in 90 minutes and 11-4 for Brentford. Well done, Gus. Shentam says, good afternoon, boss man. Jose, I hope you're well today. Good afternoon. I hope you are well. So there we go. Right. Anyway, people, thank you very much. That's your results. Bloody, I've gone on longer than what I wanted to. It's 5:15 and I've got to go and play football. So well done, everyone. I shall see you all on Friday. And before I go, can I say thank you very much to everyone in the chat, and thank you very much to Vindaloo for his 2 super chats. It's much appreciated, Vindaloo. So thank you, everyone. I shall see you all Friday. Take care now. Bye.